Welcome back. We have seen 3 videos on the basics of the Veda Swaras. Now we are going into the 4th part where we will extend some of the concepts. So in the section 1.15, we had given the example of Gananam Tva, the Ganapati mantra, and given an explanation of the various basic 3 or 4 swaras as per Krishna Yajur Veda. Right? So, normally the definition that we had given to Udatta is the Udatta will not be marked in the book. Right? Now, that will create a doubt for you. So, similarly, let me share an experience of a Veda learner sharing certain doubts which led us to read much more closely about the Siksha and understand the concepts given in Pradishakyam as well as Panini's Ashtadhyayi. So our friend, we have an ardent Veda learner, Mr. Chandrasekhar, we call him Chandru, from West Mambalam, Chennai in India. He had raised a very simple question, right? As we look at the basic swaras, my guru is teaching me Purusha Sukta. In Purusha Sukta, I am having a statement which says Shashana Nashane Abhi. Now, all the letters Sa, Sha, Na, Sha, up to Sha, they are all marked in lower note. Are they all Anudatam? I understand Ne should be a Udatam. Again, A is a Udatam. Similarly, you see some examples like we are adding from our example Suprajastavamasahaste. From Mrityu Suktam, you see Ashanaya, Mrityureva. That means there is a pattern in which there are a number of Anudatam marking that you find at the start of the statement, right? So, what is this? This is a very genuine doubt, a concept that we must understand. The next question that he asked is very interesting. Let us take the Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamehe, the Ganapati mantra. After Ganapati, Ganapatigum Havamehe, after Ga, which is Anudata, Pa, Udata, Na, which is Udata, and Pa, which is Swarita, Ti, Gum, Havamahe. There is at least some 5 letters which have not been marked. So, as per the original definition, does it mean that all these 5 are Udatta? So, can a lot of these Udatta come together? The answer would be yes as well as no. That will lead us to explore more and learn a new concept as to what is this, right? Another question that he raised was very interesting. While learning Rudram, we say Namo Hiranya Bhagave Senanye. After Ra, the Ra is Swaritam, Inya Bhagave are all unmarked, right? So this is something to Digum Havamahe in Ganapati mantra, but there is no marking under say. But when gurus teaches, they tend to say Namo Hiranya Bhagave Senanye. The say is lowered compared to Na. It is very clear from the marking, Na, Inye. Na is marked with a lower swaram, that is, it is a Anudata. Inye is a Swarita. Now, why that say is brought down in its pitch level? This is an excellent question. So, these are the 3 concepts based on the questions that have been raised. We will see and we will take it further. The way originally what you are taught in the class, there are minor variations that you will start observing. There is a point, many of the gurus, when they teach you Namo Hiranya Bhagave, the Inya Bhagave will not be at the same level of Udatam as he. It may be slightly lower, but in some school they render it same like Udatta, which technically is not so correct because you don't distinguish between the concept of a Udatam before a Swaritam or unmarked letters after a Swaritam, which we'll see shortly. So, we need to understand certain concept. The first concept which we need to understand is the definition of the word Pracaya in Sanskrit or in the Vedic text. Prachaya is the collection or accumulation of letters that get the same swara. Now, that means, is it Udata or Anudata? That we will see. Right? One of the good examples to note here is the example of Sashana Nashane Abhi. Now, let us introduce you to a very critical rule in the Vedas. For example, in a Vedic Padam or in a Vedic statement, say for example, the Udata is appearing in the fourth letter. Till a Udata comes, the first three letters will be marked with the Anudata sign. But the fourth letter is a Anudata. Third letter will always be, as per Swara rule, it will be a Anudata. The first two which are marked as Anudata normally will be rendered in a monotonous tone. Like as you see in Sashana Nashane Abhi. This rendering at the lower note, which is normally lower than an Anudata, is called Prachaya. If you take the example of Sashana Nashane Abhi, the first 5 letters are marked in Anudata. The Ne is a Udata, so the previous one is a normal Anudata. Therefore, the first 4 letters are rendered monotonously. So, in this example, you see monotonous rendering comes before a Udata. If you see in some other Vedic statements, the monotonous rendering with unmarked letters may come after a Swaritam. The apt example and the doubt that he asked is on the mantra Gananaham Tva Ganabadigum Havamahe. He is asking about Ganabadigum Havamahe. The Digum Havamahe is rendered monotonously. In classic text, many authors also refer this as Prachaya. But we would like to make a distinction based on the study of classical text. In Panini's Ashtadhyayi, Book 1, Chapter 2, Rule number 40, the definition in nearest English says, possible correct translation says, when Anudata vowels, you have to understand it is as a Padam perspective or a Vedic statement perspective, followed by a Udata or Swarita, they become Sanatara, which is rendered lower than Anudata. Right? So this is similar to the example what we have given in the Prachaya before Udata, that is like Sashana Nashane Abhi. Therefore, Panini's work makes it very clear the Prachaya that comes before Udata or Swarita, or it can be before a combination of Udata and Swarita, this has to be understood as a Sanatara. The key note is that these are rendered at a tone or a pitch slightly lower than the Anudata. Let's go to the other definition that we have for the monotonous rendering after Swarita. Again, we go to the same book, Panini's Ashtadhyayi, Book 1, Chapter 2, but the rule is 39. When words are glued together, then the Anudata accents. It's not Anudata actually from the point of view of Padabada. They may be Anudata, but in the books, they are not marked. And he says the accents become Ekashruti if they are preceded by a Swarita and are pronounced monotonously. So, after Ekashruti comes, after a Swaritam or a Dirgha Swaritam comes, like as we say, Ganaba Digum Havamahe, Digum Havamahe, we say it monotonously. This is called Eka Shruti, right? So, this is Prachaya that comes after Swaritam. This also needs to be noted now. As per convention and the explanation given by Vedic scholars, the Eka Shruti is rendered in a note or a pitch slightly lower than the Udata as per scholars. That is, you say Ga, here you will say Ga, slightly on the lower side so that while reciting, everyone knows now you are reciting an Ekashruti. Similarly, by rendering the Prachaya part or what is correctly called as a Sanatara part at lower than Anudatam, we make it very clear during the rendering that it is a Sanatara, or what is normally we also call it as a Pracaya. The level up to which you diminish the tone may slightly vary between the gurus from whom you learn and the schools they belong to. Now let us go back and look at some definition from the Taittiriya Pratishakyam also. Of the Anudata syllables following a Swarita in Samhita, there is Prachaya. Now he is talking about the Prachaya which comes after a Swarita having the tone of a Udata. That is in Pratishakyam chapter 21 rule 10. He goes to, let us look at Pratishakyam 21:11, but not when an acute or circumfluence or Swarita, that is a Udata or a Swarita that follows. So you read statement 10 and 11 together. The unmarked akshara or letters that come after a Swarita, what happens is they follow a Udata or a circumfluence. They are rendered very monotonously, and this concept becomes same as the Ekashruti as explained in the Panini's Ashtadhyayi. There is also a supporting rule in the Pratishakyam chapter 1 rule number 44. So what is the term that we try to use, or we want to use consistently? We call the Prachaya, or what is called Sanatara, which occurs before a Udatam or a Swaritam, we call it as Prachaya, right? We don't normally refer as Sanatara in our article. So you link it easily. Please note, a Sanatara that comes in the middle of a Vedic statement will not be marked. You need to identify that properly. For example, you will find a word in the middle of a statement like Samvatsaram, Sa Anudatam, Va Anudatam, Itsa will be normal Anudatam. So there are two Prachaya Swara and one Anudatam. So when you say at the start, Samvatsarameva Varunde, if it comes Dvadasamasa Samvatsaraha, so again you realize that it is a word with a Prachayam start, you automatically come to Sa, Sam, Vatsara, Vatsa, Sam, Va will be rendered as a Prachayam. Itsa will be rendered like a normal Anudatam. Please note, in our articles, we call the Prachaya part of the Anudata as support Anudata, and the Anudata that should occur before the Udata, we call it as a prime Anudata if you are reading our Padabadam or other Swara rule articles. Let us take a break here and continue with these concepts or look at the detailed explanations in the next video. Till then, thank you and goodbye.